Hello everyone, Esther here, and I'm here with Valara, my bard elementalist, to show you how to get your very own Codex of Ultimate Wisdom. So, the Codex is an item that will give you plus 100 to two different skills of your choice and plus 25 intelligence. So it's a very in-game thing, and it's extremely useful for characters that are very hungry for skill points like she is. I still have a couple of skill points to get, but I need a whole lot more for my build. It's a very extensive and involved quest that involves some very high-end content, but I think that she can tackle it. To get started, you need to go to the underworld and open the gate. And if you don't know how to do it, there might be another video that explains it, but if you don't know how to open this, it probably means that you're not strong enough to do the quest in the first place, so I wouldn't bother. But once you do, once you have a character that is somewhat set up, oh, there are a couple rats here, let's blast them. You should embark in this quest eventually, because it takes a long time to get going. This might take me a couple videos. So here we are on the underworld, which is one hell of a giant dungeon. Let's get going. I am attuned to fire on my elementalist, not for any particular reason. The monsters are not incredibly weak to fire, but it's the best book I have of the artifact books in terms of skill points, so it made sense to always keep it. The way that this character works is that I use the song buffs to make myself a lot smarter and do more spell damage, and to keep my pet alive. The elementalism is such a fun way of playing with mages in this game. There's a lot of variety that you have by switching the elements, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So we just are making our way to the first dungeon that we will have to explore. And as always, the underworld is a place where casting spells is very difficult unless you have one of the few artifact items like the codexes, the book of knowledge, and so on. So if you're playing a wizard, you should get yourself a book or a orb of the abyss or something that will allow you to actually engage in whatever it is that your character does, because otherwise the spell chance of spell failure chance is going to make you very miserable. There's a whole bunch of rats around here. Let's get rid of them. I need to find a way to despawn their horses when they die, because I get sad by hurting them. But anyway. Here we are at the entrance of the Stygian Abyss, which is one gigantish dungeon that has a lot of cool stuff in it. But what we need is to get to the second floor. There's a lot of gargoyles here. I don't expect my pets to last very long because there's a lot of dispelling going around. Let's get my buff song. The healing song is very good for keeping your pet in one piece. And the power of the mage songs entirely depends on how high your 4 bard skills are. I am at a cap for peace and music, but raising discordance and provo takes a very long time. So I am interested in getting the codex just to save myself the hassle of having to provo a million monsters. So I don't care very much for the loot here because my account is very well established, but it's all the dungeons in the underworld are really great places to farm because they don't drop copper and silver, they drop jewels, which weighs very little and are very valuable. Let's try to convince our buddy to come. Yeah. No, never mind. On my attack macro, I have a discordance trigger, so it will always attempt to discard mobs if it's not on cooldown. And I was doing it mainly to try to get some gains in the skills while I practice, while I fight. Let's get our echo and get our start blasting. The AoEs are so fun. Like in vanilla Secrets of Caesarea and its predecessors, there wasn't much of a point in doing area of effect damage because you were always playing against a single enemy. But in most rooms, most dungeons, you were fighting just one guy at a time. But when we increased the difficulty, especially on the harder dungeons like this one, we made the point of making fights be group based, so mages have a reason to blast enemies with their chain lightnings and meteors aside from the higher spell circle. Look at that tree, drow very close by. These are regular drow, they are not the House Fanadar drow, so they don't drop the special items, but they are still somewhat tanky and somewhat difficult. We want to get here. I have 0 spiritualism in this character and my magic resist is a bit lower because I have to run the protection, which makes it pretty much impossible to keep the summon. Spiritualism contributes to its base, the spell resist. So maybe one day, once I have the Titan of the Ether quest and then finish it with the codex, I will actually be able to fit spiritualism on the build. What is a massacre? Try to keep her body alive. Like my staff is stupidly good because I spend a very long time farming the Drow dungeon, and I put like 100 different tokens from the enchanting system. Why am I attacking my back? So yeah, let's unsummon this one and try to get another one. So as I was mentioning, this stuff is costing me about a week worth of killing drow, but it has a insane amount of procs and a very high base damage, which compensates for the fact that this kind of weapon is absolute garbage. Oh, a whole bunch of blues here. So against low enemies with lower armor, we can one tap them pretty reliably. Or amongst this. Let's heal up. Yeah, we get a couple of discordance procs every once in a while, but I think that there's something weird going on with the code, because when I was at 50 skill, I was failing discordance on monk bats, like on like the worst enemies that you could find. I couldn't get them to the skill to actually do something. So I'll take a look at it eventually. Oh, that's a lot of them. But they are almost dead. And like for a character that is strong like this one, this is somewhat doable. But maybe if you are a bit younger on your journey, or you don't have as much gear, but still want to try your luck at this, bring a friend around. Combat gets very intense, especially if you don't have a lot of AoE effects. Oh, that's a hard bluffing. It's the absolute worst one, I think. I still like to gift this to people. So this is a deadly difficulty dungeon, which is as high as it gets. So even like the regular orcs still are tanky because their stats get scaled significantly. So from here we go here. Oh, our buddy went far away. Let's deal with lizards first. And see what they are up to here. Let's make sure we have our echo up we too. I think I'm still not at the attack speed cap. Yeah, I'm not. Even at 48 swing speed, my dex is very low. So that's something I need to work on this character. But the skill points being as it is, it's very difficult to find places for legendary items. Let's get our sound back up. I'm still mildly unhappy with how casters play in this game compared to pure dexers, but I am not very sure of how to make them more efficient without making them trivialize a lot of stuff. I think that a lot of the issue comes from how resists work in this game, like an absolute damage reduction. So when you get to 70 resin in anything, stuff either doesn't do any damage to you or it absolutely murders you. But that is a difficult problem to solve. We got the disco proc. Here we have two giants and our buddy died. Let's back up a little bit and get our buffs back. Yeah, they are very strong, so let's approach this with a bit more caution. We have a song that reduces their fire res. So let's do that. Let me fix my position here. Here we go. We are very close now to our first destination. Let's make sure we have our buffs. And our... no, not our hearts. Wrong button. Oh, we don't have a gem to cast our reflect. That might be problematic. So we come down here. There's this big room and a whole bunch of dragons. Oh, we have no line of sight. Up there's a boss that we need to kill. But let's take this one dragon at a time. And look at this. This is a lot of gold. It's important to appreciate how much wealth you can find in this place. Now I can do my reflect. And we have the Slasher of the Void here. And a whole bunch more dragons. I don't expect our battle to last long, but we do what we can. we are reflecting a whole bunch of poisons in them, which forces them to use cures instead of trying to hurt us, which saves a lot of time. So the dragon is dead. And here we have a vortex cube, which is why we came to this place. And it's a very high-end monster, so it will drop a whole bunch of stuff for you. TPST map, that's nice. So that was the whole point of coming to this place. It can drop a couple treasure hoards if you have good luck, but we do not, because we are very hungry for gear. But once you get your cube, you can click it, and it will explain to you how the system works. So, Toasted Wood, the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom, can use the knowledge within to become more intelligent, plus 25, and the Grandmaster in 2 skills of their choice, plus 102 chosen skills. The Codex lies within the ethereal void and can only be drawn out from within the chamber of the Codex. To do this, you must obtain the 3 keys of infinity in order to enter the chamber. To see into the void where the codex lies, you need the convex and concave lenses. And the cube has the power to draw things out from the void. In order to do that, you need to find the 6 void crystals to power the cube. If you manage to find all of those things, you can enter the chamber of the codex and approach the void. The codex will then be yours to do what you wish, but it will be yours alone to use. Make sure to bring this cube with you when you're doing this quest. So right, we have the cube, now we need the lenses, we need the 3 keys and a whole bunch of crystals. What this means is that we need to do a lot of different dungeons to find those. So first we need the concave lens, sorry, English is my 3rd language, which means that we need to find a gargoyle named Naxatilor in the Dungeon of Shame. Let's go to Rune Library. And let's go to Shame. Assuming that we have we have a rune. I really dislike that we got this one on the first row because this place is gigantic, but we need to explore this place and try to find a single gargoyle here. You might have found him on a regular playthrough and you got annoyed because he didn't drop you anything, but that's because you didn't have the cube thing with you, the quest item. And while we are at it, we'll try to gain some skills. We still need to grab a couple more points. But this is a much easier place than the one we were before, so I won't even bother with my summon. Unless we find something more challenging. So it could be on any floor of this dungeon, so it's a good idea to explore one completely before moving on to the next. But the basics of the quest is like this. You need to go there, find the cube, fill out the boxes by going to a whole bunch of different dungeons, and when you're done you go back to that dungeon, search for the chamber that is ink shaped, and you get yourself your book and your 200 skill points. And you really need to look everywhere, because missing something in here it's going to be brutal. It could be at the very start, or it could be anywhere else in the dungeon. It's good that we still need to get some marksmanship points. I don't even have like the maximum scrolls for marksmanship and tactics, so I didn't have the gold for it on this character. I really dislike the labyrinth layout of this place. It's hard to tell what is on which floor. And most of the enemies aren't incredibly impressive. So let's ignore the Krakens. And let's blast those guys up. What usually happens with me is that I find every single room in which what I am looking for is not. So I might be here for a while. And if you're not very familiar with the game, like if you don't have access to a rune library, or if you don't know where the dungeons are, this is going to take you a long time. And that is by design. This is supposed to be a very difficult thing to achieve, so you can be a lot happier when you finally do it. We might have pulled a bit too much, but let's try to blast them. Oh, I love this AoEs that you don't even have to target. Just press the button and stuff dies. Doesn't look like it's anywhere here. A lot of magical enemies though, So good gains for magic resist, which we'll need to increase with our gear further, because the protection stuff kind of screws us on magic resist, and having lower magic resist means that you will eventually be disintegrated by an enemy spellcaster. The density of elementals in here makes it look like this place is probably a better mine than most mines. So if you bring a character with forensics and mining here, you can get a whole bunch of colored ore. So let's go this way. Oh, poison and acid elementals are nasty. Maybe we should have our buddy here. That's a lot of bottles, I'll take them. I feel like the restoration poison cure is a bit lower level, so it's difficult to deal with the higher end poisons. Yeah, we have to spam a few armor ignores here. Not on the other ones, but on the poison ones. Elemental salts. Don't really remember what this is, so I'll take it. No value here. Check this big building here. I'll take paralyzes immediately and die afterwards. So you really need to check everywhere, and that makes it a very involved process. And we learned that it's not what we're searching for is not in this particular building. So let's go back. And let's loop around. I think that there's even one more floor to this place, which absolutely sucks for us. Yeah, there's this one more gate. So let's check this, and then we come back if it doesn't have anything. You're way too many of them. Not having the pets out means that they can blast us instead of trying to dispel it. Yeah, this is so fucking silly. We got like one of the worst possible dungeons to get our start. But from my experience, on the previous times that I did this quest is always the worst possible dungeons. So don't be in a hurry to complete this because it won't do you any good. We still probably will need to go back and finish the previous floor. But I am just hopeful that this is the deepest that it will take us. So we should now actually take this down and this up. So the item would not lie to us, would it? Yeah, well, if anything, we must be getting a whole bunch of fame and karma out of this. Oh, we are at 10k and a half already. That's great. We need to get started on the legendary items. Come on, hit. Let's make some more ammunition. Here we have one of the altars that you come to when you are a Death Knight to get your spells. And we are leaving out of the life leash from the weapon. Oh, here we go. Naxatilor, the gargoyle. The bastard gave us a good run. He's not very strong, but they still like to buff up before boss fights just for musical memory's sake. So once we kill him, we double click and we take possession of one of the lenses, and it shows here that it's found. So here we go to the codex lens. It's in the, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, in Vordo's dungeon. So we need to go to the word in a bottle to do it. And you don't need to do those in order, but I'm seeing that we have to go to Argent Rock, which is an absolute nightmare, but we have 2 in Saltmarsh for some reason, which is a big dungeon, but is one that is actually fun to do. But this was 43 minutes to get the cube and the first one, so it should take us a few more hours to get this done. But you get the gist of it. To complete them, I will probably record the entire experience in a little mini-series, just to show you what you are in for when you want to get your own codex. But that will be it for this episode. I hope you had a good time. I hope it was informative. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.